Take one. Hopefully only one.
Hey guys, welcome. I'm Tanner. This is my co-host Kenny. So I think we're week 4, right?
Yeah, we are.
Week 4 college football 2015. Okay, first we're going to talk about the Final Four picks that we had and how they're doing at this point. So I had Ohio State, Auburn, USC, and Baylor. Auburn and USC obviously lost. So I think USC can get back in, but it's going to be a tough road for Auburn. And then obviously Baylor is still in it. How about you?
I had Ohio State, USC, LSU, and BYU. We all know that with BYU losing one game, probably won't even. It'd be even hard for them to even make it into the New York Six Bowl.
Possible.
They have to be ranked really high because G5. They're not part of a G5 conference. They don't get automatic qualification, so they have to win out the rest of their games and be ranked probably in the top 10. But LSU is kicking butt. USC lost to a Stanford that we probably thought was going to not do so well because they lost to Northwestern. And then Ohio State, which is doing pretty good, but they
had a close one with Northern Illinois.
Yeah,
this last week.
That was weird.
See where they go from here.
So again, USC can still make it. BYU can't. So
unless some really crazy stuff happens.
Everyone loses like 3 games or something.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We're going to talk about BYU's matchup against UCLA. It was this past weekend. If you haven't heard, BYU fell 24-23, just a 1-point loss. So tell us how you thought the game was going to go. And
it was actually going exactly how I planned until the interception. I didn't want it to be a Hail Mary pass, but I was thinking that, well, Trevor Sampson had 3 field goals, and I predicted him to have 4. So I predicted the score to be 26-24, and then UCLA's last drive, BYU was going to stop them.
Yeah. Come
up big as a defense, but it went the other way, and UCLA stepped up on defense and stopped BYU. So
big 26-24. That's.
But I didn't have them BYU getting in that lead at that close to the game, and that close to the end of the game. I was thinking they were going to be 26, score 26-24 earlier in the 4th quarter. Mm-hmm. But
so I thought BYU was going to lose by 7-8 points. I picked UCLA to win 28-20. BYU did better than I thought they would do. They just lost by 1 point. So we'll see.
They had the game won pretty much. During the game they were ahead, but then they lost.
Yeah, up by 10 with 6 minutes to go, 7, something like that.
It was the beginning of the 4th, I think, maybe. So now BYU is going to move on. They're still ranked in what is it, AP poll? AP poll.
So that was a big deal. Coming up close against UCLA. I think that the prestige of the institution is raising because they didn't fall out. What were they, 19, and they only dropped 3? That's extremely good.
I would have, if I was doing the poll or voting, I would have them ranked even higher than 19.
Yeah,
they lost by 1 point to a top 10 team. But anyway.
Yeah. So next they're going to be going to Michigan.
What do you have at the Michigan game?
So BYU had some trouble against UCLA letting those big runs come by, and Michigan is another team that's going to be really tough to stop. They got a really good running game, not too much of a passing game. So we'll see if BYU can stop the run, then they'll have a really good chance. I think BYU will do pretty good offensively. I don't think they'll have to settle for field goals, which ultimately is going to win them the game, 28-26. Again, another nail biter.
Hail Mary?
I don't think
or
so.
A late score?
No, I would love for Nick Kurtz to get a game-winning touchdown. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right.
What about you?
Well, I had to change my prediction a couple times. But we know that Michigan's more of a running team. and apparently BYU has been okay with the run until the UCLA game.
So, what happened in that game is UCLA ran the ball so many times. A lot of times it was for no gain, but whenever they did get a gain, a lot of times they
20 yards.
Yeah,
they just, I don't know how they did it, but
yeah. So Michigan, knowing that, is probably going to continue to be resilient and not do too much to test the BYU secondary, which is super good. By the way, Kai Nakua leads the country with 4 interceptions. So
word.
That guy's good.
And then Longy is only 2 behind.
Yeah.
So
he's good too.
Anyway, I see BYU's offense because even Michigan's defense doesn't have the greatest. I mean, they have one of the worst passing defenses in the country.
Yeah.
So I have BYU airing it out, and
Tanner Mangum can do that.
yeah. And then
shown it.
we have Adam Hine. I'm sure he'll break out loose a little bit too. Maybe not run as much against UCLA, but maybe get like 80 yards or less. But I have BYU winning 38-20. You can't do much. I mean, you can score a few touchdowns or 2 or 3 touchdowns on the run, but you have to have a passing game to score more.
Yeah.
That's what I think. So.
It's gonna be a tough environment to play in. I think that would be great if BYU could come out with the big win. But
I think BYU had a lot of pain after losing that last game. Mm-hmm. They want to show the country that they're legit.
And they're a pretty battle-tested team. We'll see how they respond after their first loss, but having 3 close games, and Tanner Mangum did really good against UCLA.
His best game, probably.
Yeah, just his mistake came at the end of that, ended up costing the team, but he did good.
All right, so we're going to move on from BYU. We're moving on to the Utes. What do you think about how the Utes are playing so far?
So, it's kind of the same thing as last year, that the Utes just can't get moving offensively, really. Just kind of out of rhythm. Booker is a great running back, but again, there's still the questions at quarterback. And then the Utes have a great defense. So last week they went on the road to Fresno State and won 42-24. Yeah. So I think the Utes are going to be...
That last touchdown actually came from 18 seconds left in the 4th quarter. So it was actually closer than that.
It was a passing touchdown, too. Kind of running the score. But no, what I was going to say is just that I think the Utes are going to be a middle-of-the-road Pac-12 team, like last year. 8-4.
I'm predicting them to do better, but where they're playing is just offensively, they can't win games that way. So
yeah.
Defense can't win all games.
Yeah.
But you have to have more points than other teams.
Yeah.
So how do you think they're going to do against Oregon? They're going to Oregon.
They're going to Oregon. They can stick around, but probably not good. Again, their defense will probably keep them in, but I just find it hard for them to be able to get things rolling when they're kind of one-dimensional, just sticking to the run game. That's good, but I just feel like they're not going to be able to keep up with Oregon's fast-paced offense. So,
which Oregon doesn't have the greatest offense that they've had in previous years.
Yeah.
And Utah has a better defense this year than last year. So, what was your prediction for the Utah game, like the score?
Score? I was thinking that it would be like 35-17. So again, they'd hang around.
Oregon?
Yes, Oregon. Not let Oregon score a whole ton of points, so kind of be in there, but they're not going to get a whole lot.
I have a closer game because Utah's defense will keep them in there. Probably at halftime, a probably really close score. And then second half, I think the Oregon Ducks are going to pull away, winning 31-20. So
It'd be an exciting matchup.
Next, we have Boise State.
Broncos.
Well, we know that what's his name?
Ryan Finley,
Ryan Finley
quarterback.
got hurt, and he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. So
yeah, last week they turned it 2 backup quarterbacks. One is a freshman, Brett Wright-Bean. And I don't know who they're going to go with to start their game at Virginia. But it'll be their first career start. So
it's going to be at Virginia. But how, like, last week we predicted a smaller outcome against Idaho State, and they scored a lot more.
56-0.
Something like that. So
yeah.
we predicted that Idaho State would score some points, and then Boise State wasn't going to score as much. But yeah, this game this next week is going to be at Virginia. It's going to be hard, but I feel like Boise State's defense is going to stop them from scoring. They're an inconsistent team, I think. They play good some games they just don't do good. Last year they played really well against BYU and UCLA, and then they didn't really play well the rest of the year.
You mean Arizona in the bowl game?
Talking about Virginia.
Oh, Virginia. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Virginia played good against UCLA and BYU, but then broke apart. So that's the kind of team there have been for the last few years. So I feel like Boise State's going to come out and win 31-14.
Okay. I would love. I do want Boise State to win, but I'd love to think that they're going to win. I think it's going to be hard, with their second string quarterback making the first start. Virginia, yeah, they're 1-2.
Played some really.
They have played tough games, and they came so close to winning against Notre Dame, but that didn't happen. So I think a lot of people, and maybe maybe Boise State fans are thinking that it should be an easy game to win. But you got to think, it's kind of late in the year, so maybe the heat won't be as much of a factor. But there's still the humidity. You're going on the road, and I just think Virginia is a very undervalued team, an underrated team. They're 1-2, but I see things improving this year. I think they'll be able to get to a bowl game. So I see them losing a close one, 23-20.
All right. Last one is Utah State. They have a bye week this week. But what did you think about the game against Washington last week?
I wasn't able to see it, but you could see with the score that they, 31-17?
Yeah.
They were able to stick in there. Again, Washington, I don't know if they're
Is that Washington?
a great team. It was away. I don't know if Washington's a great team. We saw them go to Boise State, and they made that one close late in the game. But it's more of a rebuilding year for them. I think it'll be tough for them to get to a bowl game, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, actually, my prediction for Utah State last week was going to be a lot closer game. I had Washington winning 28-20. He had Washington winning 24-14. So he was actually a lot closer to the prediction than I was, and I predicted Utah State to go 10-3 this year. I mean 9-3, but they might lose more games the way they're playing. Chuck Keaton can't do it all on his own. So
yeah.
Anyway, so thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks. Tune in next week.
Have watched. Good for you. So.
All right, thank you.